I knew that Tuskegee was like the Yale or Harvard of, and back then we didn't call them HBCUs as we do now. It's a black college, and that's where I decided to go. And so I only applied to one school. I decided I was going to Tuskegee, nowhere else. And even though it was an expensive school, I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I was going to do it. And most of the kids there at my school didn't go to college um, after graduations. So if I remember, our school didn't even give the SAT. So Tuskegee, based upon my academic record, conditionally accepted me on the basis that I would take the SAT once I arrived at school, which has got to be something totally different and unusual. I think my grandparents gave me $25, I believe it was. I don't remember how I got there. I think they hired someone to to take me to school. I got up there and I took the SAT and did extremely well. Never even saw an SAT before. No preparation whatsoever. And then it came to the finances, and I saw the financial aid director, and he said, I think back then they was, I don't know, $4,000 a year to go to Tuskegee, which was a lot of money. He said, Mr. Norton, it takes $4,000 a year to go to Tuskegee. How do you intend to pay for that? And I said, his name was Mr. Davis. I remember that. And I looked at him and gave him a big smile and said, I was hoping you all would tell me that. And he sort of laughed. And he sat down and worked out a plan of scholarships and work study. My first work study job was as a janitor in the science building. It was a creepy place, and I would go there at night to clean up by myself in this big creepy building, and I was tempted to do as fast as I could, but I had a work ethic from my grandparents, and so I had to do it perfectly. And later on, my next door neighbor, who grew up uh, in a different economic environment, because his mother was a teacher. She was my teacher, in fact, in one class. His stepfather owned a dry cleaners, and he went to Tuskegee also. And I remember one day he said Norton, he said what do you do for your work study job? I said, I'm a janitor and I hate it. And we had a college newspaper called the Campus Digest, and we sold advertisement to help uh, offset the cost of publishing the paper. And he was an advertising manager, and he he said that they just had a vacancy as an advertising agent to sell advertisements to the local community. And he said, "You want the job?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I took the job, and I ended up being editor of the Tuskegee Campus Digest, which was very well known. Uh, Most of the college newspapers sent out uh, copies to all other schools, and we were very well known. We had a conference in Chicago at the Conrad Hilton Hotel, and people would say, "Where you from?" We said, "Tuskegee." "Oh yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. We see your paper." Well, yeah, because I had become radicalized along the way, and my my editorials were pretty radical. No, well, not halfway. The school president was an Alpha Phi Alpha, which was the fraternity I belonged to, and I would write articles that were critical of administration, articles about not having the right menus in the cafeteria and other things, and he would call me in. I remember one time he said, Mr. Norton, he said, "We give you all I think it was at that time, I don't know, maybe $100,000 a year. I don't know, to publish the paper." And he said, "And we don't interfere with you. You sort of do what you want, but you only give one side of the picture." And I said, it was Dr. Foster. That's right, Dr. Foster was I said, "You're right, Dr. Foster." I said, "We need to change that." And I said, "Why don't I send a photographer over and and interview you?" And he was getting happy because he was going to get some publicity. And I said, "In fact, I'm going to send a photographer and get some pictures." And he was very happy then. He said, "Okay, keep up the good work, Mr. Norton." And, and that was it. I recall my having that kind of connection. I had ran out of money, and I went to the financial aids to ask for an increase. And Mr. Davis, the financial aid director that I met when I first got there, he said, "Mr. Norton," he said, "I'm not giving you anything." He said, "I'm not to pay for your car, your women, and your booze." And I said, "I don't drink," which was not exactly correct. But he said, "Well, get out of my office." He kicked me out of his office. And I went directly to Dr. Foster's office, the president, and I told the secretary I needed to see Dr. Foster. And he said, "Mr. Norton, what do you need now?" And I told him, I said, "Dr. Foster," I said, I need some money, and your financial aid director said I can't get it." And he said, "Well, how much do you need?" And I said, "I think I need $1,000." And he said he he got a memo, wrote it out. He said, "Take this to Mr. Davis." And so I took it to Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis wasn't very happy, but I walked out with my money.